Healthy habits for creative writers. These habits spur on creativity and excitement. If you are thinking of a way to keep up creative idea generation in this world of busyness and activity, here are a few habits. Observe everything as much as possible. I mean everything. A butterfly perching on a leaf, conversations of those passing you by on the street, people laughing, dogs running around. This is also a great way to practice being present in a moment because you are watching what is going on or listening to what is around you. When you observe more, you are recognizing parts of life that we may sometimes just glaze over or skim over. It's important because when you are working on your next creative project, these moments may be an overt or subliminal inspiration to your project. We all know life is often what sparks creativity. Have a note app or notebook and consistently take notes. I have many notes on my note app. Quite a few are just random everyday things I want to remember or moments from a day that I'd find interesting. There was one day that I was walking and I heard two people having a conversation about getting high. This isn't something I'd normally hear, so I listened and wrote down some of what I heard because, well, this is life. As a writer, I need to know how people actually talk in real life if I'm going to write scripts or novels that reflect that. Noting intriguing or unique conversations or moments helps me to have a wider understanding of things people experience and translate that into a written art. Consume your choice of creative content/art. Okay, so this is where people would say writers have to read. If you don't read, you can't really write well. I would say yes and no. You don't have to read a million books to write creatively and have creative ideation. A lot of times when we think in order to be good at something, you must take in what was done before, we are keeping the status quo of how things should be done. Don't get me wrong, I do think writers should read. I think it depends on the writers what they read and how much they read, and in general, what kind of content they are taking in. If you like to read classics, go for it. If you prefer watching movies even though you're a novelist, go for it. If you're a screenwriter who likes to read poetry and occasionally watch good movies, go for it. The goal is not to consume only one particular kind of content, but pretty much whatever sparks your creativity. I've heard a story of someone who barely watched any movies growing up in their country, and yet were able to write for a TV show. Creativity is not limited to one art form, so even if our focus as a creator is on writing, we can still learn from all the other art forms to inform our writing and make good stories. Create a playlist for each of your projects. Maybe this isn't for everyone, but if you love music and you know this art form of melodies, instrumentals, and vocals inspire creativity in you, this is a huge recommendation. Having a playlist can inspire you to write when you have literally no desire to do so. They can also be a way of transporting you into the world that you're trying to create, immersing you in this reality you are forming for yourself and your readers. Take at least one other creative hobby/activity. This could be editing videos, doodling, painting, coloring books, knitting, crocheting, dancing, singing, playing an instrument, whatever is best for you, whatever floats your boat. There are lots out there, and it can be easy, in my experience, to be so focused on writing that we get kind of lost in the creativity of writing. But there are lots of other creative things to do. Sometimes it actually takes a lot less effort to do other creative stuff, less pressure, and it spurs on ideas for writing as well. Share your ideas and stories with people you trust. As you speak it, so it shall be. A lot of times I find myself so inspired by reactions and excitement of the people around me when I share story ideas that I have. There's a lot that happens in the creative space with story ideas itself. And also, speaking it out can help you decide if it really makes sense for an audience. If they find it interesting, then it's something worth exploring further. But if there are questions or suggestions for improvement, then you have something to work with. So it's all good. Ask questions about life and form your values. When writing good scripts, books, a lot of it comes from fundamental beliefs and values. If you know what you believe about life, you can share that and bring people into the conversation. It's more so about being who you are in your work, as well as introducing unique questions about life, society, and why we are the way that we are. Exploring the journey of life with the strength of the grace of God for me means constantly asking questions and figuring things out step by step. It's okay if I don't know everything, but for the things that can be discovered, discover it. For the things that leave questions, make sure to ask it. Those are just but a few ways to keep creative and, as a creative writer in specific, to write. But I hope some of the tips are helpful for you, even if you're not a writer.